affordable land and build a home or homestead that actually pays for itself? Today, I'll show you real owner-financed land that's actually affordable and 10 ways other homesteaders are turning raw land into income without buying a million chickens. So here's what we're covering today. First, quick updates on which properties went on hold so you don't miss out. Then our deal of the day. And next, we'll dive into a case study that shows the 10 ways one homesteader makes over $16K per month from his homestead. And we'll wrap up with a fun fact of the day and a free gift just for being here. So let's get into it. And of course, I'll also be answering questions as they come up on the chat. Okay, but before we dive into today's case study, my name is Erica. I have a company, Gokche Capital, that buys and sells vacant land. Our website is gokchecapital.com. That is GOKCE capital.com, but you can find all of our listings at land.gokcap.com. And here are all the listings. So we do have properties throughout the U.S., and just recently our 0.42 acre property in Putnam County went on hold. And I do like to call that out because all of our deals go quickly. But don't worry, we are always acquiring new properties, and we have a few more properties in Putnam County, Florida, as well as other counties in Florida. And we'll have new deals coming up in the West, in Nevada, Colorado, New Mexico. And then we also have all of our properties available in North Carolina, New York, and Oregon. And all of our properties that we are selling as for sale by owner do come with an owner financing option as well. And hello to everyone who's joining, by the way. Thank you so much for being here on a Sunday. All right, so let's take a look at our deal of the day. So first, I do want to say below our map, you can scroll down and see all of our available properties with a little bit of information on each one. And you can tell whether a property is for sale by owner or not in the status. If it doesn't say listed with realtor, it's for sale by owner, which means that owner financing is available. So I want to highlight our 2-acre property in Northampton County, North Carolina, because today we will be talking about homesteading. So this is one of our larger properties in North Carolina for anyone who's interested in homesteading. So this is 2 acres. We're just south of the Virginia border, as you can see here, in sort of central eastern North Carolina. And what I love about this property is how it strikes a balance. It's still, as you can see here, in a very rural, kind of quiet, private area. But you're not out in the boonies. There are a number of towns nearby for basic amenities. And you're not too far from the Roanoke River as well, and hiking trails. So it's a nice area, a great area for country living. So a few things I do want to be upfront about with this property. This is a rural property, so it is off of Home Road, which is a main road, but the road that leads to the property itself is a dirt road, so keep that in mind. And it is going to be a property that requires well and septic. So this isn't necessarily for someone who's looking for city utilities ready for hookup. And that's why I'm mentioning it in this segment on homesteading, because it's more for someone who's okay with things like well and septic. But you can see from these images, it is large at 2 acres, and it's in a beautiful area, very green. A number of people have built out here as well, I should mention. I should also actually mention that it's large because it's technically four separate lots that we're selling together. So that's another thing to keep in mind is it's potentially an opportunity to buy in bulk, and if you wanted to sell 1 or 2 later, you could do that. There is no HOA. The zoning is agricultural residential, which is, again, why I'm highlighting this property when we're going to be talking about homesteading today, because the agricultural residential zoning does allow for, as the name would suggest, both agricultural and residential uses. So that means building a home or even doing like homesteading where you're growing some crops, raising some animals potentially. But I do always say check your uses or what you're planning to do with the county to confirm that it's allowed. The last thing I want to note is that a perk test was done and it passed for a conventional septic system. So that's just another perk to keep in mind with this property. So the price on this package of 4 lots is currently $36,997 plus the dock fee. And as with all the properties we're selling for sale by owner, we do offer owner financing. And we don't give exact terms because we want to tailor it to you. So that means we will work with you to find a down payment and monthly payment that meet your needs and that will make this property affordable for you. So just reach out and let us know what you're thinking in terms of your budget, and we can work with you to tailor a proposal that will make this property affordable for you. Finally, I know how important it is to do your research before purchasing a property, so you can always hold the lot for up to 8 days. That'll take it off market. No one will be able to take the property from you, and you can do your research. The hold fee will be applied toward the purchase price if you decide to move forward. So just want to highlight this good-sized lot. And I will say I highlight this one because we're going to talk about homesteads. Doesn't mean that you have to become a homesteader overnight if you purchase a lot like this or any lot, unless you want to, in which case, please send me a few dozen farm fresh eggs. My girls love eggs. As soon as your chickens finally start paying rent, that is. So, hello. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I hope you're having a wonderful Sunday. Okay, so let's get into our case study. How can you make money homesteading? Which I think is a big question that many people ask when they get started. So this is a case study on one homesteader who used 10 different income streams to make a little over $16,000 a month from their homestead. So that means they're not just supplying their own needs, they're actually making some money as well. So what are those 10 income streams? Now, first, let me introduce who our homesteader is. This is the guy behind Homestead How. And he does, we'll break down the 10 ways that he makes money. Now, obviously, since he has a YouTube channel with a large number of subscribers, you can imagine that that is one income stream. Oh, and very quickly, there's a chat here. Is this considered a flagpole lot? So if we go quickly back to our deal of the day, it's actually not a flagpole lot because this is 4 individual lots that we've packaged together. As you can see here, but yeah, this kind of general shape is often called a flagpole lot. But I will note that because this is kind of its own lot, this is a pretty wide width, so it wouldn't really be considered a flagpole because you'd have a narrower width with flagpole. All right, and that's a good point as well. Before getting into the 10 ways that he's monetizing his homestead, I should probably define what a homestead is. So homestead's one of those words that doesn't have a strict definition, but I think, yes, so these are, let me go back here. You can see they are already 4 separate lots. And that's, yeah, so I'd mentioned that a little bit earlier. That's another opportunity with a property like this is you can see here, they each have their own APN, which means theoretically you could sell 1, 2, 3, even all 4 of them separately if you wanted to after you purchased it, because we are selling them all together as a package. But you can also keep them all because they make 2 full acres, which would be a good size for someone who does want to do something like homesteading. And homesteading, again, I don't think there's like a strict definition, but I think when most people think of homesteading, they think of living on your property and also supplying a lot of your day-to-day needs. So your own food, essentially, like you're growing crops and raising animals. And this particular homesteader you see is raising a number of animals as well on his property. So that is what we're thinking of when we're thinking of homesteading. And it's a little bit different from like a traditional farmer because the primary purpose is not commercial, although as we're going to see in the 10 income streams from this one homesteader, you can still earn some money doing homesteading. And so yeah, that's another good question. 100% self-sufficient equals homesteading? Not necessarily. I think many homesteaders do have that goal, but there are also many homesteaders who aren't 100% self-sufficient, but they're still supplying a good portion of their needs. So, maybe they're supplying all their own eggs and all their own vegetables, but they still buy flour and milk, something like that, But the goal is to become at least more self-sufficient when you're homesteading. So yeah, it doesn't need to be 100% self-sufficient. Okay, so this is a nice video because it shows his homestead. Anyway, this particular homesteader, his name is Carrie, is making over $16,000 a month, and he has 10 main income streams. Now, I showed you his YouTube channel. That is one income stream. He has well over 300,000 subs, and so he's just getting some base income from ad revenue. And at the time of this particular video, which is actually a few years old, he was earning about $35,000 per year just from that YouTube channel. And that's another question. Is it possible to build a 100% self-sufficient homestead with zero bills? And that's a good question. It's not what I'm covering today, but maybe I can cover that tomorrow. But on top of that, he has some other income streams that he gets from his homestead itself and then from some what you might call side hustles. So another thing that he does is auctions and garage sales. He'll go around, buy undervalued items at auctions or garage sales and sell them on eBay. So here he provides one example of buying a table of books for $20 and reselling it for $481. And actually, I can go here. I did a quick breakdown of how much he makes from each source. So that's another thing. Then on his homestead itself, he does Airbnb farm stay. So people will spend money to come stay on the homestead itself. Agritourism is pretty big right now. And he makes about $24,000 per year from Airbnb doing that. On top of that, he has a dog kennel on his homestead. It's a 4-run kennel. It's primarily designed to meet the needs of Airbnb guests who want to bring their pet. So this is an example of a concept called upselling, where you have your base offer, the Airbnb stay per night, and then you say, well, for a little bit extra, we can provide a nice dog setup for you as well if you want to bring your dog. Why does he need 10 streams of income? Wouldn't he make more if he just focused on one or two? Well, that's a good question. He very well might if he focused, but it seems like he's spread too thin. Yeah, that's a good point of debate. I don't know what everyone else thinks, if he would do better just focusing on one main income stream rather than trying to spread it out. And as you'll see in the breakdown, there's actually one source of income that's providing the most, the bulk of his income, so maybe he should just double down on that stream. But, and that actually gets me to the next income stream, which is his main income stream. He's an Amazon influencer. That's where most of his income comes from. And so basically, because he has a YouTube channel, he can also post short product review videos. He can either put them directly on Amazon or he can put them on his YouTube channel, and he'll get revenue when people buy those products through his his referral code. Oh, hi, Zaphael. Glad you could make it today. And should we ask him to watch this video? LL, yeah, we should, because I'm not getting any commission for this. This was just an example I found. But yeah, maybe I should reach out to him and see if I could make an extra income stream by highlighting his homestead. Amazon influencers shouldn't exist. Well, yeah, that is another question, whether that's the best way to earn income or not. He would make a lot more if he focuses on one or two. This is crazy. Hey, that's a good point. You are the business expert, so you're right. Here, I'll break down all of this to demonstrate exactly what you're saying. So you see, he does all of these 10 things, and most of his income comes from being an Amazon influencer and indirectly through his YouTube channel, which has a number of subscribers, and through his Airbnb. So yeah, maybe he should just focus on Airbnb and his YouTube channel, and he could really double down and make a lot more than he is right now. Because as you can see, some of these other income streams make almost nothing anyway. Although I will say that some of these are all tied together, like the YouTube channel and the Amazon influencer and the dog kennel and the Airbnb are tied together. So yeah, these are the main ways that he has been making money. When does he have time to watch Netflix? Well, I suspect, like many homesteaders, he doesn't spend much time watching Netflix. He should add Uber and DoorDash. Well, yes, those would. Yep. Well, why not? Why not add more income streams? But I did want to highlight all 10 because these are all potential ideas for homesteaders. As everyone is rightly pointing out, it might be better to pick one or two, but there are many options that you could pick from if you wanted to actually make some money off of your homestead and not just supply your own needs. And from this, it looks like it would take some time to build a YouTube channel and become an Amazon influencer. So, maybe Airbnb is the easiest, most lucrative option you could pick if you're just starting out and you want something right away. But I don't know. Abby, any other thoughts on that? Plot twist. He also flips land on the side. LOL. Yeah. Maybe. So there you have it. But to go back to, if you want to make more money, you just get a second 40-hour job. Just kidding. Well, yeah, that's exactly what a side hustle is, isn't it? You end up working 2 jobs. So that is, of course, another option, joking aside, is you could start a homestead, spend a lot of your time working on the homestead, and then get a regular 40-hour job to help pay the bills. So how do you make money from homesteading without selling digital products? Well, the traditional ways are selling like farm products. The problem is, as you see in this breakdown, they might not make that much money. But yeah, I mean, that's one traditional way. You could sell excess produce, eggs, if you have goats, goat milk, things like that. If you actually make your own household goods, like you have a wood shop as well, things like that, you could potentially sell on Etsy. But as you can see from this breakdown, digital products or doing something like Airbnb are probably the higher income opportunities. So, but, and happy to hear what everyone else thinks about ways to make money from homesteading. But I did want to also go over the fun fact of the day and ask, how much farmland do you think is set to, speaking of homesteading, how much farmland do you think is set to change hands in the next 2 decades? as baby boomer farmers retire, because this is a big opportunity for anyone who's either actually looking to be a full farmer or looking for a smaller parcel of land to do homesteading. And the answer is actually 60% of U.S. farmland, by one estimate, is set to change hands in the next 2 decades. Erica, can you also do a case study on her? On who? Could you clarify? I'm happy to. So just for context, 60% of U.S. farmland, that's like $2 trillion worth of land. So that could be a big opportunity for anyone who's interested in agricultural land, being a farmer, taking up that mantle. So, and if there's interest, I'm happy to do a deeper dive on farming. And doesn't farmland always change hands generationally? Well, yes, that's a good point. Unless it's owned, because more and more farmland is owned by companies rather than individuals. But yeah, that's a good point. You would think that 100% of farmland would change hands as each generation retires. So, see if there are any other questions. And thank you all for joining again. But I did want to share our free gift. Many of you are familiar with it already, but we do have this guide on 17 ways to generate income from land without building. I thought China was buying U.S. farmland. Yep, some people are talking about that. And while Chinese companies might be buying some farmland, there's still a lot that is owned by American companies or individuals. So there's still a large opportunity. Case study on her. I'll look into it. Yeah, I could do. Always happy to do new case studies. Let's see. I will look into it. Although I think we already have a topic for tomorrow, which is it possible to be 100% self-sufficient with a homestead? So that should be interesting. Looking forward to that. And in the meantime, if you are looking for a property, whether to homestead or just to have a parcel of land, you can go to land.gocap.com. We do have a number of properties available, and we're always acquiring new properties. Farmland is very hard to get. That's an important point. It is very expensive usually. And a lot of farmland is moving out of agricultural use as well. So that's a good point. I know that it's issues regarding annexation. Oh, that's another interesting idea. I could cover annexation. Now I have a long list of potential ideas, which is great. I have the next couple of days covered. But yeah, annexation is an interesting topic as well. And it's a good point. You can make a lot of money if you're able to successfully identify land that's about to be annexed. So can cover that too. Thank you. And she bought land on a USDA loan. Sounds like a good case study. I'll cover that too. But I did 100% self-sufficient. Yep. Well, let's see if it's possible. I think we have some votes that know it is not possible, but we'll see. We'll find out. Is it? And yeah, again, website is land.gocap.com. Oh, and we have a discount that is valid until tonight at midnight for $200 off any of our North Carolina properties. That code is LiveNC200. I'll put it in the chat. You can go to land.gocap.com. And then I now have my work cut out for me figuring out whether you can become 100% self-sufficient in this day and age we have a vote that it is not possible. So let's see, Raphael, if you're right or not tomorrow. But thank you, everyone who joined today. I know Sunday's usually a busy day with lots of family obligations. So I appreciate everyone being here today. I'll be here tomorrow at 2 p.m. And we'll talk about homesteading and self-sufficiency. And also check out land.gocap.com if you would like.